Hello everyone, welcome to day 6 of Hot Summer series in which we are covering different topics for CAT, and today we are going to have a class on data interpretation, and this is going to be graph based data interpretation. So today we will be covering two types of graphs, bar graph and line graph. Now if you talk about the data interpretation portion, in the DILR part you do get at times a chart based set, not always, but sometimes you, out of the 4 sets, one could be chart based. So it could be bar graph, line graph, pie chart, radar chart, etc. So we will have a few classes on data interpretation as well, and today we will be seeing bar graph and line graph. I hope you have watched the previous classes of this series and must be enjoying the series. If you are new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and follow us on social media. This is the schedule, so save the date, and accordingly on that particular day you can watch those respective topics. In fact, I would suggest that watch the entire series. You will learn something new in each of the videos, some great question solving techniques that will help you improve your performance in tests and in the actual examination as well. And in case you are preparing for CAT and are looking for a structured course, you can enroll in our batch, and you can get 20% off by using the coupon code HOT. So you will get all these things for 20,000, which includes classes in the recorded, like live classes, which are later available in the recorded format till 31st of March 2025. So you have enough validity just in case you are preparing for other examinations like ZAT, CUET and others. You will have access to these classes, and you get topic wise practice sheets. There is a doubt resolution group of enrolled students. You get full length and sectional mocks, plus we will also help you with GDPI preparation. So as a ritual of this series, try to pause the video, solve the set and look at the question solution. Now in case of DI, each question is usually independent of the previous one, so you can at each question solve it and then see the solution. So let's begin with the first question. Now this is a bar graph. It shows that during 2015 to 2019, the revenues of 4 companies P to S were as follows. Okay, so it's a simple one. It says that in which of the years was the year on year growth in percentage in any single year during these 5 years the least. Okay, so we need to find the least growth in these years. Now since the values are as such, like if you observe the graphs individually, if it was a single graph, like it was asking for a single let's say company P or Q or R or S, you can easily watch the graph and make the make the estimates. But here you have 4 different companies, and for some it might be increasing, for some it might be increasing by a lower value. So it's better to add the values and do it. Okay, so if it was only one company, let's say if I ask you in which year was the percentage increase for S the least, okay, you can still like estimate by looking at the values of the graphs. You can say that here it is an increase of 2 on increase of 2 means increase of, see this is 30, so each line is of 10. Okay, so this would be 100 and it became 120, right? So 20 ka increase. Here it is 1 to 20 ka increase. Okay, so it is increase of 20 from previous year. It is increase of 20 from previous year. It is increase of 30 from previous year. Okay, and it is increase of just 10. So we know that it is increase of just 10. So for S the least is in 2019, but it is asking for all 4 companies altogether. So you will have to do the calculations and add the totals. So let's solve it. So we have 16, 17, 18, 19. So we'll have to take the totals of all years. So this is 300. Okay, this is 100, 400, and if you see this is 110, 120. This lies between 120 and 130. So 125. Okay, 300, 400, 525. So the total here is 525. Okay, similarly this is 190, 80, 75, 175, and this is 140, 160. This is 300. Okay, 300 and 120, 420, 420 plus 175, 595. So this is 595. Let's calculate this one. This is 200, 200 and 360. This is 180, 180, 360, 560, and this is 140. That is 700. Okay. Now the next one is this one, wherein it is 250. Okay, 250, and then we have this is 210. Okay, and this is 200, and this is 170. Okay, so we have 460, 460 plus 370, that is 830. Okay, and finally this is 250 and 240, 490, 490 plus 220, 710, and this is 180, 890. Okay, now if you look at the percentage increase, right, here we see that the increase was of 70 on 525, so more than 10%. Now we just found the totals, so we can clearly see that this increase is the least, right? Just increase of 60 from 60 versus 830, and we always calculate this growth from the previous year. Okay, growth is always calculated based on previous year. So 60 increase with respect to 2019, the growth is with respect to, so the growth is least in 2019. Okay, so this 60 upon 830, that is the least value of growth. Next one, which of the following, which of the given companies has seen the highest year-on-year growth in any single year during this 5-year period? Okay, so if you look at the year-on-year growth, okay, and we need to say that which company has shown the highest percentage growth. Now individually, if you look at the graph, highest percentage growth, so here there is no growth on P. P would have shown the highest growth probably in this year. Okay, but it is not just about P, we will have to see for all the companies. So here it was 200 and it became 250, so 25% for P. So P has shown a growth of 25% in one single year. Now if you look at Q, Q hasn't shown any significant growth. Now if you see this graph, third, fourth, fifth, it does not show any 25% increase for sure. Okay, so Q, you do not even need to find the percentage. Now if you look at R has shown some growth over the years. Possibly this could be the highest increase, because if you look at the slope, okay, just need to observe the slope. This is very less, and this could probably be the highest. So if you look at the value here, it is 100 and it reached 120. So R had a growth of 20% in one of the years. Okay, and then if you look at S, sorry, this was for S, my bad, we took it for S, that is 20%. R is this one. Okay, and in R also, if you see, the growth has not been very steep. So the only possible steepest growth is from this year to this year. So this is 200 and it ended up becoming 240, so which is 20% growth. Okay, so R also showed a 20% growth. So maximum is clearly P. Now if you can just observe the graph, you could say that this growth looks the highest ever growth in any of the companies. So the highest ever growth during this period is of P for a single year, right? Any single year. So that is for company P. It was discovered later that one of the companies misreported its revenue for one of the years. If the misreported revenue is replaced by the correct revenue, the revenues of that company over the 5 years will be in an arithmetic progression, which is that company that misreported the revenue. Okay, so it is given that one of the companies misreported the revenue, and if it is replaced with correct revenue, that the remaining all these 5 years revenue would be in arithmetic progression. So for this you will have to write the values. Okay, so let's start putting values for P, Q, R, S and then solve it. Now the thing is, that's what I would suggest in while attempting data interpretation and logical reasoning section is, do not try to attempt the complete set, right? Attempt only the questions which you feel take less time, like previous 2 questions would have taken lesser time and hence should have been attempted, and this should have ideally been skipped in the paper, right? And you can come back to it later and solve it later. Do not attempt it at the first go, because you know that it is going to take a lot of time to write all the values and then check for that arithmetic progression condition. And anyway, let's solve it. So this is 150 and 175. 150, 175, then we have 200, 250, and finally we have 250. Okay, now if you look at Q, it starts with 125, then it moves on to 140. Okay, 140 and then 1 less than 180, that is 170, 190 minus 10 is 180, and this is 2 graphs above 190, 210, and the last one is 230. Okay, then if you look at R is 150, 160, 160, third year it is 180, then it is 200, and the last year it is 240. Okay, now if you look at S is starting with 100, 120, then next year it is 140, then we have it at 170, and final value is 180. Okay, now it says that there is one company which misreported that data. So suppose P, if you see the values, they are changing by 25, 25, 25, but here it is changing by 50. Suppose instead of this, if we make 225, then it will change by 25, and again there will be a change of 25. So that means P is that company. But before you answer P, see the options. It says P or S, S only, P or R. That means there can be other company also. By the way, you should not have written the values for Q, because Q is not in the options. So Q का आपको देखना ही नहीं था, right? We did a mistake by writing the values for Q. So ideally one should have written the values for only 3 companies, because it is P, R or S or a combination of these. Now R, if we see, this is 10, 20, 20, 40, right? Now if you change one of the values, let's say we make it 140, still this is not in arithmetic progression. So R cannot be that company. Okay, if you look at S, this is 20, 20, 30 and 10, isn't it? But if we change it to 160, what will happen? This will be 20 and 20. This makes an arithmetic progression, right? So that means S could also be that company. So it could be P or S. That is the answer to the question. Now this was comparatively time consuming question than the previous ones. Next question. Now again this is a lengthy question. Okay, it says that during the period from 2014 to 15, the revenue increased by 25% for 3 of the 4 companies, 3 of the companies, and by 50% for the remaining companies. So 3 companies का revenue 25% बढ़ा and 4th company का 50% बढ़ा. The total increase in revenue for all 4 companies put together was 125 lakhs. Okay, so in 2014 there was some revenue, and one of the companies increased by 3 companies increased by 25%, and 4th company increased by 50%, and then the total increase was 125 lakhs. Okay, so which of the following cannot be true? So we'll have to think that what could be the possible revenues. Okay, now if you look at 2015, right, PQRS, so P and R it is 150, okay, and Q is 125, and then S is 100. Okay, now if we see, three of them increase by 25%, one of them will increase by 50%, right? So 2014 we will have to backtrack this. So increase by 150% means 1.5 times. Now some basic sense will come handy here, because if we take 1.5 times with this, right, this will be non-integer. If we take 50% with Q, it will be non-integer. If we take 50% with S, it will be non-integer. So it is very likely that 50% increase is for P or R. Okay, so let us do one thing. Since both of them are getting the same revenue, so we will make two cases. One case is 50% increase of P, one case could be 50% increase of R. So let us take the first case. So P went from 100 to 150, increase of 50. Okay, Q went from 100 to 125, increase of 25. R had a 25% increase, so R would be 120. Okay, and the last one, S, must have gone from 80 to 100, an increase of 25. So if we see, the total increase is like 100 to 150, 50%, 100 to 125, 25%, 120 to 150, 30, and this is 20, this is 20 lakhs. So if we see 125 lakhs, so which fits the condition? Or there could be a second case. This is case 1. Case 2 would be that this is 120 and this is 100. Okay, so the increase would remain the same. We just do not know that which company had, like either P and R were 100, 120 or 120, 110. So that is what we need to figure out. So accordingly the increase will be 50, 30 or 30, 50. Okay, so that is the scenario here. Now which of the following cannot be true? So that we need to answer. The 2014 revenues of P and R cannot be determined uniquely. So this is true. We cannot determine P and R. From 2014 to 2015, the revenues of P and R increased by different amounts. That is also true, because one of this increased by 50, another increased by 30. From 2014 to 2015, the increase in revenues of at least two companies were the same. Okay, at least two companies, was it same? So if you see, the revenue increases 50, 25, 30 and 20. So none of them is same. So it is false. We have to tell which of the following cannot be true. So this is not true. Okay. So the company that experienced 50% increase also experienced the maximum increase in revenue. Yes, that also is the maximum absolute increase. So 50% increase and maximum absolute increase also. So option C is wrong, which says that from 2014 to 15, the increase in revenues in at least two companies were the same. Okay, so this is the answer to this question. Alright, so let's move on to the next set. Okay, this is a stack bar graph. It says that a factory produces only 4 kinds of goods, A, B, C and D. The following graph gives the percentage production of each kind of good with respect to the total production during the 4 years. And we are given the total production and the production of A, B, C and D. We are further given that the overall production increased by 20% each year with respect to the previous year, and the production of C in 2021 was 40,800 tons, more than its production in 2019. Okay, so how do we solve these values? So we can determine all the values. Now the thing one needs to do is, do not determine all the values to answer the questions, right? First thing first, we will determine the total values, and then whatever is needed we will calculate that. So there is increase of 20% every year, increase by 20%. 20% means increase of 1/5. So if we take one value as 5x, it becomes 6x. Okay. Now it is increase just one time. Like if you have to increase from 2018 to 2019, you will take the variables 5 and 6. But if you have 3 times, so if there is increase 2 times, you take 25, 30 and 36. If there is increase 3 times, take the values like this. So 150x, 180x and 216x. It is all about taking variables. So if you watch the previous class, I told you that in percentages it is all about taking variables. If you take the right set of variables, you are able to do the calculations faster. अगर आप 100 लेके करोगे, maybe you would get values in decimals and would be difficult for you to calculate. So if there was single increase, then 5 to 6. 2 times increase, take square of this, 25, 30, 36. 3 times increase, cube of 5, 125, 150, 180, 216. Okay, so let's take these totals as 125x, 150x, okay, 180x and 216x. Now it is given that production of C in 2021. This is C in 2021, more than 40,008 more than 800 more than in 2019. Okay, so 2019 C is 22. So 150 ka 22 is, like if you calculate 22% of this, this is 33x, and it becomes, you can say plus 408, it becomes 20 into this 43.2x, right? So 10.2x is 408. Okay, so x becomes how much? 40 times, right? 102 into 4, since one decimal is there, 40. We had removed 2 zeros here. Okay, so x will actually be 4,000. So x is 4,000. What is the total production in 2021? 2021 we are saying that 216 into 4,000. So 216 into 4,000, you will get 864,000. Okay, that is our answer. So now we know the productions. We know that x is 4,000. Multiply by 4,000 to get the respective values. No need to calculate all the values separately. We will see in the subsequent questions that how can this be answered. What was the percent increase in the production of D in 2021 with respect to 2020? Okay. Now we will not find the values of D. We will not find the actual values of D. We can just use percentages. Remember, if the data is given in the form of percentages and a question is asked in the form of percentages, you can answer it without using the actual values. Let's see how. So D, we need to find the percentage increase. So let's say it is increased by 20%. So if we take like, let us say we assume the total value as 500 and 600. So D, here it is 100, okay, and 600 ka 36% is 216, increase of 116%. You can take any value, you can take 100, 120, you can take the actual value, putting x, you will get the same result. By how many tons did the production of A increase in 2021 as compared to 2019? Now in this case we are asked absolute value, so you will have to use absolute value. ठीक है, अगर परसेंटेज में डेटा है और परसेंटेज में क्वेश्चन पूछे, यू कैन यूज एनी कैलकुलेशन फ्रेंडली वैल्यू, बट हियर यू विल हैव टू फाइंड द एक्चुअल वैल्यू. So production of A in 2021 as compared to 2019. Okay, so this was 150x, if you remember from the previous question, and this is 216x, right? This is 16%, this is 21%. X was 4,000, so in this year it is 216 into 4 was 864,000. Okay, का 16% minus, we will have to do 150 into 4,000 is 600, 150 into 4 is 600 and 1000 का 21%. So this we will have to manually calculate. ठीक है, कर लेते हैं. So this 21% is easy to calculate. This is 126, ठीक है, 126, and this is 6 lakh. So 1,26,000. Okay, 16 into 864 करना है. Now see, the thing is, like some students get confused कि कहाँ पे कितने zero लिखने हैं. Just first multiply 864 by 16 and then we will decide based on the magnitude of the number. Okay, 16 4s are 64. Okay, then we have 6 carries. 96 plus 6 is 102. 10 carries, 128, 138. So this is 16% of 8,64,000. So it will be 1,38,240. Right? When we subtract it, we will get 12,240 is the answer. So 12,240. Why did we calculate actual values? Because it was needed, right? If it is percentage based, like what is the percent increase, you could have answered without calculating the value. The compounded annual growth rate in the production of B from 2018 to 2020 is closest to, right? Now, what is CAGR? CAGR means, the formula is CAGR is equal to final value upon initial value right, raised to the power 1 upon n minus 1. So for example, let's say a value becomes 144 and like, or let's say value of 500 becomes 720 in 2 years. Okay, so that is 1.44 ka square root, 1.2, 0.2 or 20%. So that means year on year growth. Compound interest ऐसा निकालता है, that the same thing you need to find out the rate of interest in case of compound interest. Okay, so CAGR of B from 2018 to 2020. 2018-2020 we are talking about B, and these are the values, right? Now again we can use the same relation here. Okay, अब इसे कैसे करेंगे? See, I told you if there are two variables, take 5 and 6. ठीक है, 20% है ना, it is 6 by 5 times. So if there is 5 and 6, if there are two values, 2 times increase, use this relation. So I will take two, let's say 2500 and let's take it 3600. Okay, so 2500 or let's take the total production as 2500 and 3600 to ease the calculations, because we have to find the percentage change. Percentage change nikalna, we can use a calculation friendly value here. Okay, so final value will be 36 into 30 and initial value is 25 into 37, and we need to find the square root of this minus 1. Okay, now this is 6 by 5 times, so basically 216 by 185, and the square root of this minus 1. Okay, so a bit of calculation is being involved here. If we see 31 by 185 karna hai, so it is basically 1.31 310. Okay, 125 or 7, 1.17 approximately, right, is square root minus 1. So this would be somewhere around 1.08 roughly minus 1 or 0.08 or 8%. So roughly it is going to be 8% increase. So roughly we know that 2 years it is 17% increase. So 1 year it is approximately 8% increase. So that's how you find CAGR. Okay, so difficult calculations but made simple by using the right values in the calculation. Okay, the average annual production of C from 2018 to 2021 is, so we need to find the average annual production of C in this range. Okay, so let's find the average annual production. So we know that now in this we will have to find the actual value. Why? Because we are asked actual value. If it was percentage or ratio, we could take any suitable calculation friendly value, but here we will have to find the actual value. So we said that 125x and into 4000. सो हमारे कितना था ये 500,000, 500,000. So I'm not writing the thousands. So this is 600,000. This was 720,000. This is 864,000. And these are in thousands. Okay. And C, we have to find the average annual production of C. Okay, lakh tons में पूछा है. So C is 20, 22, 30 and 20. So 500 का 20 is 100. Okay, 600 का 22 is 132. So just focus on the digits, right? Do not worry about कि कितना डेसिमल में आएगा. Thousands में ये हो रहा है, 2 और 0 रिमूव हो जाएंगे, so it will become in lakhs. Okay, so 720 का 30 is 216 and 864 into 2 is 1728, 172.8. Okay, इसको हमें 4 से डिवाइड कर देना है. Okay, so what do we get? We get like 72, 88, 20. So sum 20.8, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 and 1 carries 620.8 divided by 4. So कितना आ जाएगा 1500, 1552, 155.2. This is in thousands. 155.2 thousand. अगर lakh में convert करना है, we will have to shift 2 decimal places this side. So it is 1.552 lakh tons. So it was a bit of calculation intensive set, and this is how we solve this particular DI set. I hope you are enjoying these sessions. So please don't forget to like the videos and share it with your friends who are preparing for CAT. This is the next set. It says that it gives the ratio between exports and imports of a country from 2008 to 2015. Okay, this is the ratio of exports and imports. So export upon import is given. So how to read this graph is, in 2008 it is 0.85, right? So it gives export to import. It says export and import. So export is written first. So export upon import is 0.85. So that means if import is 100, then export would be 85. It says the imports increased by 100 crores while the exports decreased by 35 crores from 2008 to 2009. What was the import in 2009? Okay. How to do this is, 2008 is 0.85, 2009 it is 0.75. Okay. So this is 0.7, this is 0.8, exactly in between 0.75. So let's assume some values. Okay. Simple percentage based question hai. So import and export. Now understand that which is the dependent variable. Okay. Dependent कौन है? If we take export upon import, we see that E is equal to x into I, where x is the ratio given, right? So this is independent and this is dependent. So we will take import as 100. Let us say 100x. Okay. 100x let us. So here n into I, where n is the ratio. N is the ratio of export and import, which is given in the graph. So if we take it as 100x, so we can find export here. So export in 2008 is 85x. Now it says the imports increase by 100, so it becomes 100x plus 100. Okay. So what will be the export here? 0.75. So this is 75x plus 75, right? 75% of it. So export decreased by 35. So this minus 35 is this. So we'll get 10x is equal to 110. So x is 11. Okay, we need to find import in 2009. This is 11. So 1100 plus 100, 1200 crores. Okay, so since like export is dependent on the import, so take the variable for import as 100x, and accordingly whatever is the year given, you find it that way. The exports in 2012 were 20% more than the imports in 2010. What was the percentage change in imports in 2012 with respect to 2010. Okay, so exports in 2012 were 20% more than imports in 2010. Okay, so let's see this value. So we will again take import and export. Okay, 2010 and 2012 वाले values ले लेंगे. So exports in 2012 were more 20%. So let's say इसे हम 100x ले लेते हैं और यहाँ पे सिर्फ परसेंटेज पूछा है. So we can assume any value, right? अगर वहाँ पे कोई value पूछी होती, so we would have taken 100x and then find out the value of x. So since percentage is asked, we can take it anything. So 2010 and 2012 we'll have to look at the factors. There it is 1.1 times, and in 2012 it is 1.25 times. Okay. Sorry. So it says export in 2012 were 20% more than the imports in 2010. So export is 20% more than this 120. You need to tell the percentage change in imports in 2012. So export is 120 here. Now we are given that export is 1.25 times, right? So 1.25 is 5 by 4. So 120 by 5 by 4 is 120 into 4 by 5, which is 24 into 4, 96. Okay, so import becomes 96. What did we do? We assume import to be 100 here. Okay, so this was not needed. So we found out the export in 2012. Export in 2012, उससे हमने imported 2012 निकाल लिया. Now the question was, what was the percentage change in imports? So import changed by 4 of 100, so it is 4%. Now if you would take 100x or not take 100x, it does not matter. अगर आप 200 लोगे, the value would be again 4% only. So remember that if a data is given in form of percentages or ratios, and the answer is also asked in terms of percentages and the ratios, then you do not need to like put some variables. You can take any value and get the same result. अगर आप 500 भी लेते हैं, आंसर सेम आता. The exports doubled from 2009 to 12. What was the percentage increase in imports from 2009 to 2012? Again we will do it without variables. Okay, so 2009 and 2012 import and export. So 2009 it is 0.75, 2012 it is 1.25. Okay, so import हमने 100 ले लिया, so export will be 75. Exports doubled, so it becomes 150, and 1.25 से divide कर लो, import becomes 120. Okay, because it is 1.25 times. Okay, so that means this is 120. So what is the percentage change here? 20%. Straightforward questions. So this is a pure application of percentages. If you are strong with percentages, this particular DI set is a cakewalk for you. The total imports in 2011 and 2014 were 3,300 crores, while the total exports in these years were 3,170. So 2011 and 14 imports and exports total is given. We need to find the difference between the imports in 2011 and 2014. So the total imports is given and total export is given. We need to find the difference between the imports. Okay, so let's see, this is 90%, 0.9 in 2011, and this is 1, right? So that means same import is equal to export. So again make a table like this, 2011 and 2014 import and export. So take the values and try to get the result. So it says that imports were 3,300 crores. So let's take 100x and 100y. Why are we taking variables here? Because we have to find some number. If you are asked to find just percentage or ratio, you would not take the variable. ठीक है, पर हमें number पूछा है. So x, so total import is 3,300. Okay, so one equation is x plus y is 33. right? Then we are given that exports in these years was 3170. So import here is 90, export is 90x, and this is 100y only export. Okay, so this is 3170. So we get 9x plus 10y is equal to 317. Now see this, we need to find the difference between imports, right? Now whenever we have a linear equation in two variables, what we do is we remove one of the variables. Okay, now which variable should we remove is, we have to deal in imports. Okay, import is denoted by okay, so we can remove any of the variables, it does not matter. So 10x plus 10y will be 330. When you take the difference, we get x is equal to 13. So this gives y is equal to 20. Difference between the imports is 7, and into 100, 700 crores. So that is the answer to this question. So pure application of percentages, just a play of numbers using them. If there was 20% increase in imports from 2013 to 15, exports in 2015 were how much more than the exports in 2013? So it says 20% increase in imports from 2013 to 15, and you need to find export were how much percent more than exports in 2013. So this question, right, before even trying to solve it, remember one thing, that whichever questions there were percentages and ratios being asked, right, we were able to solve those questions. But if data is no value is given, like in the previous question we were given some value like 3300 crores, so we were able to find the imports and export. Now if no value is given, we cannot find the answer, so the answer is cannot be determined. So remember one thing, there are two kinds of values, absolute values. Absolute values are basically numbers. Okay, it could be sum, difference, ऐसे करके जहाँ पे numbers दिए होते हैं, that are absolute values. And then there are relative values. Relative values are percentages and ratios. Okay, now remember that if a question has absolute values or relative values, okay, and the answer asks some, like it is absolute plus relative or just absolute, answer is asking absolute or relative values, then in that case you need to calculate, right, using the given number. Okay, calculate using equations or whatever, like we did in the previous question, right? We were given some absolute data that total import is this, like here we were given the total import was 3300, so we made some equations and solved it, right? The second case is, which appears magical to us, is if the question asks has relative data and the answer is also relative, you can assume any value. Like we did in some of the questions, like this one, right? You can assume any value. Try the same question by putting 500. So if you put 500 here, okay, it said that exports doubled, so we need to find exports. So 0.75 would be 375. इसको double कर दो, you will get 750, right? And it is 1.25 times. So 1.25 से divide करो, you will get 600. And if you see the percentage change, it is 100 by 500, which is 20%. Okay, so you will get the same answer. इससे भी 20% आया, इससे भी 20% आया. So if you are given a relative value and answer is also a relative value. What is relative value? Percentages, ratios. What is the data given? Percentages, ratios. If you are given relative values and the answer is also relative value, then you can assume any value for the calculations. That's what we did here. And the third case is, which happens in this scenario, is like if the question asks, has given you relative value and answer options ask you about an absolute value. So always remember the answer cannot be determined. So this answer cannot be determined because we are just given the relative data and they are asking us an absolute data. They are asking some difference or anything, any number, absolute number. We cannot determine that number. So this is the key understanding of percentages and ratios. If you understand this well, you master arithmetic, you master data interpretation. Well, let's do one more set, and this is going to be a challenging one. Okay, so it says that there is a 15-day stay in Kolkata. Anmol purchased 6 items for breakfast: bread, butter, cheese, milk, noodles and yogurt. 2 items were purchased on each day and every item was purchased on an equal number of occasions. The prices of these items are 20, 25, 35, 40, 50 and 80, but not necessarily in the same order. The graph shows the expenses for each of the 15 days and some more information is given, and using this data we need to find out, like you will have to find the price of each of the items and how much did he spend on each, like what item did he purchase on each of the days. So you have to map the price and find which item did he purchase on each day. So take some time to solve this set and then look at the solution. So I'll start the solution. You pause the video, try to solve it on your own and then look at the solution. So this set says like this is the expense given, and graph can be read like this. See, these are all multiples of 5: 20, 25, 35, 40, 50, 80, multiples of 5, right? So if this value is there, this is 50, this is 70, total expense is 60, exactly in between. This is 90, this is exactly in between 100. Now if you see this value, this is between 70 and 90, but not exactly in between. So this expense is 85. 110, 130, exactly between, total is 120. This is total is 70. This value is slightly less than 50, so that is 45. And this is 110 and less than this is 115 and so on, right? So you can find the values for each of the days. Now few things to ponder here is, it says that each item was purchased on equal number of occasions. So how many occasions? It says equal number of occasions. How many such occasions? So we have 5 items, okay, and 6 items, and there are 15 days. So 15 days into 2. So he eats all 30 items, like in total every day he consumes 2 items. Okay, so it says that 2 items on each day. So total 30 items and there are 6 items symmetrically. So that means 5 times per item. That is first thing. Okay, so we will make a table like this: day 1, day 2, day 3. Maybe I should write a bit smaller. I realized this very late. So I'll write like 15 days, 15 items. So you'll have to make a table indicating that which 2 items he purchased on each day. Okay, then we will write the expense and the 2 items. So this should be your table. So expense you can write from the graph. Okay, so first day 60, second day so I have to make 3 columns, item 1, item 2, etc. like this. So first day it is 60, 90, 100, then it is fourth day 85, 120, okay, then we have 70, 45, okay, 115, and then we have this as 90, 90 and 50. Day 11 it is 90, this is 60, sorry, not 50, this is 60. Okay, 60, then we have it as 70, then here we again have it as 120, okay, or will it be 120 or anything else? Yes, it would be 120 only. And then it is 60 here. Now you must be wondering that how can we get 120 2 times? Maybe he purchased the same set of 2 items on those 2 days, right? 60, and then day 14 is this is 100, and this part is 75, 175. Now what we need to see is, you need to see the extreme values. Extreme values kya hai? High or low values, very high values, very low values. Now if you look at highest value, which is 120, 120 can be only 80 plus 40, और कोई combination नहीं बनेगा. So 120 we have 80 plus 40. Similarly this 120 also 80 plus 40. In fact जो भी values 100 से ऊपर आ रही हैं, suppose we do not include 80, so 50 plus 40 is 90 only. So if you are getting greater than 90, that will definitely include 80. 80 वाला तो आएगा ही, ठीक है. So that's how we can figure out wherein that 80 rupees item is purchased. Now this can be 80 20, okay, so everything, this is 80 plus 20, okay, this is 80 plus 35, and anywhere like this is 80 plus 20, right? Because अगर 80 को हटा दोगे, maximum is 90. So when you add 80, it becomes it becomes more than 90. Now the next thing is cheap values, like 45. 45 is 20 plus 25, right? Similarly any other small value, 60 could be 20 40 or 25 35 also, right? So that is quite much possible. Now we will use the conditions also. We have thus far written that what is the total expense on each of the days. Now the condition says that noodles are the cheapest, so noodle is 20, and cheese is the costliest item, so cheese is 80. अच्छा एक काम करते हैं, we will write all these values: bread, butter, okay, cheese, milk, noodles and yogurt. Okay, so cheese is of 80 rupees and noodles are the cheapest, so noodle is 20, right? Rest we do not know. So wherever we have this 80, this is cheese. You can write cheese, cheese, cheese in all these places. Okay, so we get the 5 days on which cheese is produced. So every item is produced is consumed 5 times, so that is here. Now we have 20 is noodles, so this is noodles, and 20 is noodles, so one of the items is noodles. 25 we are yet to figure out. Okay, don't worry about the totaling here. Now we will look at the further conditions. Starting from day 1, milk was purchased every 3rd day. Every 3rd day means 1 को खरीदा, तो 4, 7, 10, 30, right? These are the days on which milk is consumed. So this is milk. Okay, so 4th day also will be milk, 7th day will be milk, okay, then day 10 will be milk, and day 13 will be milk, right? So this gives, this is 20 plus 25, so this means 25 is of milk. Okay, so this is milk, milk, milk. Now we will find the remaining item. So 25 is of milk, so the second item would be of 35. 85 is of milk, so this is 25 plus 60. Okay, this is 25 plus 20, 25 plus 35. Okay, and then we have 25 plus 35. Okay, so we'll have to find out which is which one. Then he purchased yogurt and butter together on 2 occasions, right? Yogurt and butter. So we are yet to find out what is yogurt and butter. 80 we have figured out, 20 and 25 we have figured out. Okay, so we have these three remaining. He never purchased butter and cheese same day. So yogurt, butter, bread, these are the three things remaining. And he says that yogurt and butter together. So we have 35, 40, 50. अगर 35, 40 को yogurt butter मान लेते हैं तो 75 हो सकता है. If we take 35 and 50 as yogurt, then it can be 85. Or if we take 40 and 50 as yogurt, it can be 90. So see which of these is repeating two times. इनमें से कौन सी वैल्यू 2 times आ रही है. 90 is coming once. Okay. Then 85 is this is not butter and so see yogurt and butter, because we have not yet put yogurt and butter. So this we will not consider, this 85 we will not count. So then 90 is coming again. 90 has come 2 times. 70 has come 75 has come only once. So this is the number that comes 2 times. So that means yogurt and butter total is 90. Okay. Yogurt plus butter. Okay. Now yogurt plus butter is 40, 50. So yogurt butter is 40, 50 or 50, 40. Right. The remaining item is 35, which is of bread. So first question can be answered. The price of bread is 35. So bread is 35 and this is 40 plus 50. Okay. But we know that it is yogurt plus butter. So yogurt plus butter, and here also we have 90 was here, yogurt and butter. Okay. Now one condition is remaining. He says that he never purchased butter and cheese same day. So butter is 40 or 50. Okay. Now cheese is 80. 80 is being purchased with 40. Okay. So if you see here, cheese is with 40 here. So it means butter cannot be 40. So butter is 50 and yogurt is 40. Okay, so we get the values. Now we can fill in the values. So this is 45, 25 plus 60. 60 is, we made some mistake here. Sorry, here the total is 75. My bad. I just noticed it, that should be 75. Okay, because 70 की line ही है and it is below the half line, right? 80 से less है, so 75 is the total. It should be 25 plus 50. I hope I have not written 60 anywhere else. Yeah, that is correct. So we have these values done. So this is milk and bread, 35 rupees. This is milk and 50 is butter. Okay, cheese and yogurt. 70 we need to find out. Okay, so we will now 70 can be 25 plus how do we get 70? 50 and 20, right? So noodles plus butter, that is the only way to get 70, or is there any else? No, that is the only way to get 70. 115 is 80 plus 35, so 35 is bread. Okay, this is milk plus 35, 35 is bread. Then 70, 70 is 20 plus 50, noodles plus butter. Okay, then 120 is plus 40, that is cheese and yogurt, milk and bread. Then it is cheese and 20 is noodles, and last it is 75. So 75 how do we get? We get 50 25 or 35 40. Okay, so we will have to see which combination to use on the last day, right? So 75 can be either 25 plus 50 or it can be 35 plus 40. So we need to see which combination to use. Now if we take 25 plus 50, we will have to take milk and butter. Okay, but milk is already consumed 5 times, like 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Milk is already done 5 times. Each item can come only 5 times. So this is not possible. We will take 35 and 40, which is bread and yogurt. So last it will be bread and yogurt. So this is how we are going to solve this table. So a difficult set to solve. Okay, lengthy calculation intensive set. So the first answer is price of bread is 35 rupees. Such sets you can answer partially in the examination. So if you encounter such questions, You can attempt a few questions, like for example you could answer what is the price of bread and move on. No need to answer all the questions of this set. Which is the only item purchased on 2 consecutive days? So for this you will have to look at the table. Cheese, noodles, cheese, butter, yogurt, noodles. Noodles is consumed on 2 consecutive days. On which of the following days did Anmol purchase yogurt? So 6, 9, 11, 14. 6, 9 purchased yogurt. Which item was purchased along with milk the most times? So milk is purchased on 5 occasions. So bread, butter, then noodles, bread. Okay, so milk and bread is consumed 3 times. Bread. So this was today's session, and we solved some data interpretation sets. Some were easy to do, some were calculation intensive. So you must have learned some different techniques how to tackle these problems which involve calculation intensive problems. Okay, and if you are interested in our CAT batch, you can enroll in the same, and you can use the code HOT to get 20% off till 30th of June. If you want to get the PDF of this series of all the videos, you should join our Telegram group. There we share all these PDFs, and you will have in 30 days you would have collected a good content, solid content. And if you solve these questions for CAT and learn the approaches of solving problems, definitely this will boost your preparation by a big margin, and you will feel yourself more confident in solving questions and should be able to solve more questions in your mocks as well as the actual exam. So that's for today's class. Thanks for watching the class. Have a great day ahead. Goodbye.